Well, welcome. We are live for our Thursday night Create with Sharon Hoppe Designs, and yes, I am Sharon Hoppe. But y'all know that, right? So, hi Diane. I'm going to put my little link up for everybody to be able to hit the eCam so that I can see who you are. So we have Diane, Jen, Connie, Sharon, Lisa, all on so far. Well, there looks like there's a lot more, but those are the names that I see. So I already said those. So welcome everybody. I have had many requests to show how to do the vase with my vase mold. So I am going to do a demo on that tonight. I have been doing a lot of glaze research and different styles of glazing. And so you like that fence? That was Melody that sent that to us, and I had planned on doing something with that for a long time and finally was able to do that. I thought that was just so fun. I got to tell y'all, Mr. Wilson loved his debut. He was running around the house playing the song, Can't Touch This, Can't Touch This, because he thought he was cool. He was on the air. It was so funny. We were just cracking up. Hey Cindy, hey Peggy, hey Misty, Edie, and Cindy, two Cindys. Okay, so back to the demo. Tonight I'm going to demo the vase mold. No texture, no anything, just a very simple, this is how you do it. And then, as you all know, what I love to do with my products is give you a starting point. For all of you who, if somebody gave you a blank canvas and expected you to create off that, for those of you that hours later would still be staring at a blank canvas, that would be me. That's what I like to do, is give you the tools to be able to create off of not a blank canvas, but a skeleton canvas, so that then you can take it and run with it. So that everybody can create beautiful things. So that's what we're going to do tonight with the vase. I'm going to create a simple vase, show you how it's done. Couple little tricks in there. And then see what you guys do. We have sold a ton of these vases. So for all of you out there that have these vases, this is going to give you a good starting point. And then please post pictures. Post pictures of what you've done with it. Okay, so let's see, where are we? Oh, we're only at 5:33. So I'm not going to start the video quite yet. I'm going to let people get in. Me, I love the skeleton canvas. Who would that be? Miss Jen. Miss Jen, you're so creative already. April, hi. Nancy Jean, hi. So don't forget, I look at the requests, and tonight is one of those requests. So I guess what we're going to do is just go ahead and start this, excuse me, this first video, and give you a peek in how to use this vase mold. If you have any questions, be sure and put them in the comments, and I can either address them while the video is going, or we will certainly address those as soon as we get off the video. All right, here we go. I have my B-mix, my slab of B-mix, which is very hard to come by these days. I am not gonna texture this one, I just want to, I've been doing a bunch of glaze research and have come up with some really fun ideas for glazing. So this particular vase, I am not texturing, just compressing. And then I'm going to cut this slab. So here is my mold. We want to make sure, obviously, that the fattest part is going to be our bottom, because when we wrap this around, we're going to want this to slide out. We want it to slide off this way. I just lied to you. This is our bottom, the skinny side. Let me scoop this up. Sharon just told a fib. The skinny side is our bottom, because then when we take the clay off, we want the clay to lift off, and it'll have to lift off the thin side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thickness stick, and I'm simply going to make myself a straight edge. Clean my knife. I'm going to take, and I'm going to give myself a straight edge. Now, this could be saved for little handles or something, so I'm going to set this aside just in case we decide to do that. Now, if I put my vase down at the bottom, then I can decide, gee, how tall, my microphone shadow is in here. There we go. How tall do I want this vase to be? Do I want it to go off the top? Do I want it to come little tiny? I'm going to just go about where the top of that is. So if I stand my stick right there and move my form and stand my stick down just a hair. Okay. And I'm going to scoot down just a hair and lay this down. Now, I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to come and give myself a straight edge across here, or close to straight. Now, I actually have enough. I could make a little short baby too. I'm going to save that. Actually, I'm going to need that for the bottom, aren't I? All right. So now I got to decide, where do I want my seam? Now, you could wrap this across and cut at an angle and hide that seam completely. Or you could embellish your seam and make it stand out. For instance, here's one that I did. What's in there? Water balloons. We do a lot of water balloon fights at my house. Okay, so here's one that I did. I took my seam in a swirl and I put buttons, and this is my lace flower texture on here. But you see how I just kind of swooped that, and I have texture on the bottom. Here's another one. This is the same texture, the lace flower, and I kind of did blue and purples, kind of made it different. But you see, this one I just went straight up and I left it with a flap. So you can do these any way you choose. I think on this one, and what I would do is kind of wrap this down and bring this one up. I'm going to bring it up right there. And make sure it's kind of close at the bottom here. And then I can choose, gee, how do I want that to look? Do I want it to just come around? And you could even very, very, very lightly, let's say I took this pencil very lightly and I said, hey, I want to come just a very subtle. Whoops, I went off and I didn't mean to. That pencil marker burned right off. Let's say I just want to very subtly bring that across and do something across here. I could do that. Let me put that back in. Okay. Or you could, I like to make them swirl. So you could just come around and make a swirl right in the front of it. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out here a little bit. And this is coming clear to the end of the bottom. And this is going to be, so this is actually about good underneath. I really poked that when I said mark it, didn't I? Okay. And you can even, where's my pony roller? I could even take this pony roller and kind of smash that down a little so that it'll blend better. And then I do want to lift it and make sure it's not sticking. I do have this, though. Little everyday knee highs. So if I take one of these, I don't know what was in there. Anyway, if I take one of these, and let me move this across. I'm going to take and I'm going to put my vase in this knee high. There we go. Put that vase in there. Now it does have a seam on the bottom, but we're not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to put this back across where I had it. Well, I guess I had it a little more this way. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to roll this. Roll this over. I'll fix the bottom when I get there. And I'm going to roll it right there so that I see where that seam is. Did I see it on this side? I can slightly see it on this side. Bring this back around. And then I'm going to take my knife, and I don't want to cut through both pieces. I have to go just a little deeper. Follow that same line. Look at that. See how pretty that is? That is pretty. So what I want to do now is I have a huge surface here, but I'm going to actually, take my little rubber tip tool and very lightly go right here. Because what I want to do is take my needle tool that's hiding. There we go. And I want to score this. And put slip on this. In this case, it's pretty wet. I'm just going to use water. It's not going to go anywhere. If you're concerned when you just use water and your clay is super wet anyway, you can come back and score back across it. And you see you're making slip as you go. That's not going to go anywhere. Now I'm going to bring this up and over, kind of press it lightly, very lightly. And now I'm going to very gently peel this back off because now I can see where I want to score it here. And I'm going to get this all scored. Then again, I'm going to add water. Now, again, you can go crisscross across here and really look at the slip I'm creating on my scoring tool. So I don't think there's going to be any problem using water. I can even take that slip off of there and score it right back in. So that's not going to go anywhere. Now, I'm going to take and I'm going to roll this across here. Wipe my hands. And kind of rock it. Not too hard though. Just enough to set it in place. There we go. And so now, I'm going to take my craft brush that I was using and I'm going to come and I'm going to really get that seam so I know it's nice and tight, but I don't want to mess with this side of the seam much because I want this to, look at how gorgeous that is. I want this to stay accurate. Okay, so right there, my computer went, "Ooh, your hard drive is full. We're stopping your video." So I had to stop, clean off my hard drive to be able to go on to the next video. I have terabytes on my computer and it's full. Anyway, so before I go to the next video, let me see if I had any questions. Let's see. Jen says, "I just tried Kentucky Mudworks White Bear. I haven't fired it yet, but I really like the way it felt. I made a bunch of little eggs." Oh, I'm going to have to try that. And be sure and post your eggs, Jen. We can't wait to see them. Oh, and for those of you that are here in this group tonight that are in my Slab to Fab Society, speaking of little eggs, you're definitely going to want to join the Slab to Fab private group tonight. I have a special treat for you guys. And let's see, who asked? Let's see. Oh, I thought I heard the video going. Who asked me if I was gonna, Wendy, good. Are you going to measure and make sure it's straight? No, I just use my thickness stick to get a straight line, but when I stand it up and put the bottom on, which you're gonna see in the next video, you're gonna see that it won't make a difference if it isn't like perfectly straight. So you'll see that in just a second. How thick is your slab? It is about 1/4 of an inch. If I was gonna make the largest vase, I'd probably go a little thicker. If I was going to texture the slab, I would go a little bit thicker. But since I wasn't gonna texture, I'm gonna do some really fun glazing on this. So I didn't wanna go any thicker than that. Let's see. Jen says, "What a great idea. I bet you're talking about the pantyhose." I did not discover that. I saw that somewhere, but I am passing it on because it works fantastic. I would love to take credit that I came up with that all by myself. But you know, in this day and age, you almost can't come up with anything all by yourself anymore. You've seen it somewhere, it's in the back of your mind, and you share. And if I remembered where it was, I would give that person credit. I have no idea. And I don't have any idea how long ago I saw it. I just remembered it. And trust me, I had to go dig and find some pantyhose. Who wears pantyhose anymore? Not Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman. Anybody remember that movie? Oh, I'm not wearing any pantyhose. Okay. Who asked me that? Who makes my scoring tool? Oh, Anne. That is a Xiem tool, Xiem. I actually got that one off of Amazon. I think it was like $14 or $15, and I love it because it's a needle tool on the other end. So I really love that. Let's see. Where are we? Ooh, 5:50 already? Okay, so let's go on to the second video. Like I said, the first one kind of cut off because I ran out of space. So here we go on video number 2. Okay, so again, whoa, what I'm doing is I'm taking my craft brush and I'm coming along here and making sure all that excess slip is out. And then I can also look and see that that join is nice and solid and smooth and just lines up gorgeously. And then I'm barely, lightly going to take my slightly wet finger and just barely round over this edge because I want this to stand up proud and be beautiful. Look at that. Wow, is that not pretty? Look at how nice and pretty that is. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to move my vase. I'm going to stand it over here to the side because I want to get my banding wheel. And I'm going to take this leftover piece of clay and, oh, I stuck my finger in it. And I only need, about that much. So I'm going to take this and make sure that it's compressed. I did compress it when it was a whole piece, but I'm going to do it again because I'm getting ready to add it to the bottom. And while it's sitting here, I am going to mark this with my mark, and then I'm going to flip this over so it will actually be on the bottom. Now, see where I just stuck my finger in that? But easy come, easy go, as you guys know. I'm an old hand at doing that. All right, so now I'm going to take my scoring tool and I'm going to score around the bottom of this. And with my craft brush, I'm going to actually wet this. And I'm just using water right now. We're in the middle of moving the studio and half my stuff's the new place, half of it's here. So I'll do with what I can. I'm going to set this right on here and kind of wiggle it and lift it up so that I can see where I want to score here. Here we go. And I do have some oddball lines there that it's going to be easier if I smooth them out right now than trying to stick my hand in the bottom. So I'm going to do that right there. Now I'm going to finish wetting this down. Okay. And I'm going to put this right back on here. This is, I could see the little out, where the little outy part is on this. I'm going to put that right down here. And I'm going to wiggle it, and I'm pressing this. I'm going to wiggle this a little bit. That didn't stick very well. Wiggle that on there. Now, I'm going to take my needle tool. You may not be able to see this for this camera view, but I'm going to come out just a little bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to go around just real slowly, just to keep that little bit, 1/8 of an inch. See, I'm going real slow. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it pretty consistent. Come around that little outie, or any outie, whichever way you want to call it. And there. Take that off of there. Now I'm going to take my, where is it? Maybe I don't have one here. There I do. I'm going to take my metal rib, and I'm just going to bend it, and I'm going to pull that clay up the side of this, because then you'll never see it. And that's going to, now I don't have texture. If I had texture, I obviously wouldn't be able to do this. Now I'm just bending this up around these corners. Let me see if I can show you here what I'm doing. Bending this, and I'm bringing this up. See how that's taken that seam completely out of there? Gotta hold it down so I can get the rest. Taking that seam completely out of there. You'll never even see it. Now again, that's because I don't have texture on this. If I had texture, I would have to do it just with my finger. But this way, and I bring this as up pretty far, and that blends this in where you just don't even see it at all. I'm going to blend this in the front where that seam is very carefully so I don't hit that edge. Now I'm going to put this here because I did gouge a couple places. That was because I was trying to hold it. If you had this on your table, you wouldn't be doing that. And I'm just going to blend that right back in. See how easy that is? And then come around the edge. And look at that. Now, what I do like to do is this. Stand this up. Now you can rock it to get a nice pretty edge, or you can take your wooden knife and you can come just around the bottom. I'm just moving my banding wheel and holding my hand in one spot, and that'll give you that little undercut to look like it's standing, not just so flat. It's so pretty when you do that. I'm just going around a few times, getting that nice undercut there. There we go. See that clay? Took that off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently lift this up and come around this with my sponge. And look at how pretty. Now, on the front, I made sure my seam came down and met, nice and pretty. And then what I'm going to do is take, well, I guess I'll just lay this on here for now. Well, I'm going to stand it. Okay, so now look what I'm going to do here. because I have that in the stocking. Just wrap it around, pull it straight up. Clay doesn't stick. You don't have to try to get a hold of it. I didn't have to paper that and fight the paper. Now I can go inside here, and I don't know if you can see. Let me see see inside there? That seam down there at the bottom is almost perfect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and see if I can get my hand in here with my red rib and smooth this seam in a little bit. I am holding my fingers on the outside so that I can do this without messing it up. Just like that. See that seam going together on the inside? This is where I do have a big wooden spoon that I typically go in there with, because I tend to go in and mess it up with my hands. But I'm going to go down there and bring this up and keep my hands on the outside, just like that. There we go. There. Almost perfect. All right. Now, lay that back down for a second. My hands were wet. I want to dry that off. And I have this coolest idea for glaze for this. I did mess up this just a little, but that's okay. We're going to fix that. All right. Now, what do we want to do up here? What do we want to do with this? In fact, maybe I'm going to do this. I'm going to sit this back in here for a minute. See how easy that is? Because maybe, how would I want to cut this? I kind of like the way this looks with this seam coming up. So maybe I'm just going to come over. I don't want to cut through my nylon. I'm just going to lightly angle this. And then I'm going to go get this piece as well. There we go. I'm not doing a whole lot of cutting. And then I can see what I'm doing here. I can bring this down some and just give it some character. Like that. Give it a little bit of character and it'll swoop on the top. Oh, I kind of like that. And I think I'm going to let it go with that. So once again, I'm going to pull this out. See how easy that is with that nylon? And bring my sponge. Now, if you don't like how thick that is, you can very easily squeeze it with your fingers. Bring that in. And then this part, if you don't like the thickness of that, you could actually take your knife and fix that. I'm just going to squeeze with my sponge and bring that in a little. Make sure you're holding it with your hand. There we go. Now, I do want to take my craft brush, and I'm probably going to have to get a bigger one. There's a longer one. And I want to go down and just go around that seam down there and bring that in. Let's see if my shorter one will fit. Oh, there we go. I'm actually going to use this brush to come up that part of the seam on the inside just to flatten it a little more where I couldn't quite get with my rib tool. My hands are just a little too big. There. Now you don't see it at all. You don't see it at all. All right. So there's your vase. Just very plain, very simple, very elegant. If you wanted to dress this up any, maybe you wanted to put buttons, maybe you wanted to do a roller, some kind of design right there. If you have a small extruder, a handheld extruder, or even a big extruder, you could create yourself a little braid of some sort and go right along that edge. I'm actually going to, well, I stuck my finger in that. I wanted to, oh, there we go. I wanted to take that little bump out and then lightly do the edge. Oh, that's better. So there's a plain and simple vase. Now, glazing, I'll do next week once it comes out of the bisque. I'll do that on the air and show you some fun glazes I have in mind. And we'll glaze this on the air. But there is your simple vase with the vase form. They do come small, medium, and large, and a set of triples is gorgeous. There you have it. Okay, there you have it. So let's look. Yeah, Mr. Wilson's laughing at me again. So let's see. Hey Liz, hey Melody. Who else do we have on? Carla, Nancy Kowalski, and Shirley, and Mickey, and Jennifer, and Paula, and Chris Campbell, and Skyla, and Susan. Y'all snuck on while we were in the video. Welcome, hello. Okay, so questions. I see Sharon asks, what size are you using? Sharon, that was the smallest of the set. Oh, I lied. That was the medium. That was the medium?
Yeah.
That was the medium.
The small one is 6 inches tall.
Oh, okay. So that was the small one. Let's see. Any other questions? Yes, it is the middle size one. I don't see any other questions. And it's 6:08 and we're done in just a few minutes. But let me show you. Here are, I took pictures of this vase, and you know what I ended up doing? You see the top of this? After it set for a while, I thought, you know, I wanted to make that a little smoother. So I took I have a rib that I've cut in half and kind of sanded the little edges. And I took that half rib around the top. I'm sitting here doing it for you. I could do it over to that one. I went around the top with that and just kind of prettied up that edge. So that's the only thing I did off the air was those edges. So let me switch back out of that. Any questions on that? That was a requested demo, and I'm going to start going through all the requests of the different products and start doing demos based on those requests. Hey, Deb. Hey, Penny and Cindy. Any questions, guys? If you're in the Slab to Fab group, you better jump right on over there. We've got a big surprise there tonight, too. And let's see. Hey, Melody. Hi, Misty. So we are looking at Open the Slab to Fab pretty shortly. And I'd give you a sneak peek of what we're doing in there tonight, but I want it to be a surprise for my Slab the Fab Society, so I can't show it here till I've shown it there. So watch tomorrow and you'll get a picture of what we did over there and what you're going to want to come and join our group for. With that, it's 6:10 and we're done at 6:15. 6:15. Oh, my goodness. 6:15. So if you don't have any questions, I will call this video a wrap, and I will see you guys before next week. We are in the middle of our move to the new location where I'll be able to jump in and out all the time, not just running up to my son-in-law's shop. So we will be jumping in and out a lot. So have a great week, and I will see you shortly.